Hello, welcome to episode 25 of my life journey. This is Kayhan. And recently I received a few questions, some criticisms, some complaints about my the recent content, this whole journey that I have been sharing with you. And I want to answer them in this episode. And as you know, I'm also active on other platforms on internet, and I share these videos there too. And mostly, I share these videos with people who I meet and I see in real life. Whether it's on campus, university, or it's at work, or anywhere. Maybe they are old people, old friends that I know from past, or people who I newly meet with. You know, most of the times, whoever I share these videos with, they feel some difference in the way I carry myself, the way I behave, treat them, the way I think. They can understand some of my perspectives and like points of views, are different from what you commonly see in society. And they become curious most of the times, and they just like to know why they wanted to discuss it with me sometimes. Sometimes it goes deep, sometimes it just stays shallow, but I always refer them to these videos. I send these videos to them because I always, explain things in details here. And I think it's a better way. And well, I, I, I was asked some questions like, who do you think you are to guide us or lead us toward growth? Why do you think all of your mindsets and like ideas and what you even experienced is truth? Like, why do you think whatever you have learned from your life coach can also work for other people? Is this like a one size fits all type of a thing? Uh, you know, I get lots of questions like this. Or that is this like a truth that definitely is going to lead anybody toward growth? Uh, and I always was asked about my intentions of sharing this journey, sharing these videos. I was asked that like, what do you have in mind? Uh, are you eventually going to like turn into a life coach yourself, or uh, turn into a guru, or are you going to like sell us a package? I can understand. I mean, I was not asked that if I'm going to sell anybody a package, but I can get it. I think, you know it's totally valid for people who see these videos to think that, is he going to like like all other people on internet eventually send us a blueprint to buy, or are you going to make some profit, some advantage out of these videos or not? And first of all, I want to really thank those people who ask me these questions. I think it's I really uh, thank them for being curious uh, enough to follow and like ask me these questions, even if they criticize me or like challenge me. I believe these can be constructive, both for me and for them. I, as we have talked about, I see these also as like a means of growth, uh, because ultimately it's going to help me and those people who follow me to know our environment. I mean, for myself, it helps me to know my environment, other people, other perspectives, and ultimately myself. So I am happy to get these questions, and I want you to make sure that I am only going to respond to them through my personal life experience, nothing more, nothing less. Like, I'm not going to answer, uh, based on some vague ideas that I have not touched myself. I believe the sentence "I don't know" is a very brave thing to say, uh, when someone really hasn't experienced something and uh, think they are not like knowledgeable enough on any topic. So I'm definitely going to use that if I'm not aware. I don't know something based on my experience. So let's get into the answer. So to address and answer those questions, uh, I'd say that I really, truly think and believe I'm nobody special. Nobody special at all. I'm not somebody with gifted talents, skills, or any superior intellect or intelligence. No, no, no. I mean, before getting into this path, I'd say I was just any other young adult. I would say I was even worse. In some aspects, I was definitely worse. And before, like, just before starting this path, those few months, or like the last year, the year before this journey, I was way below average in so many areas when I like compare myself, see myself now. From smoking, drinking, partying hard, having lots of short-term relationships with different people. I think you know what I mean. These relationships that you make or develop, that you, if you think about them deeply, they are only based on using one another for pleasure, as a means of, just having a good time. And oh, doom scrolling. So much doom scrolling. Oh my goodness. I was spending so much time on media just for nothing. Sometimes checking out other people's bodies, this athlete, that influencer, this woman, even sometimes in a sexual way. I don't want to even, open it or remember it and talk about that at all. I believe you totally know what I mean. And in short, I would not think about any consequence of my actions more than a few days. Yeah, I think most probably I was just thinking, let's just be in the moment and enjoy life as much as I can, use life. And in one sentence, I can say I had no long term vision. I used to not see life for more than a few days ahead of me, you know. Next week, who cares? I don't know. Next month, no long term plan, no long term goals. Everything just based on pleasure, instant pleasure, and gratification. And in one sentence, I would just see the tip of my nose instead of seeing beyond that, miles ahead. I would just only could see the tip of my nose. Yeah. Somehow I got out of that situation and that state of being or life. Uh, and I shared almost everything in these past videos, step by step, all the ups and downs and shifts. And I still do not see myself in any way, shape, or form as someone who can lead anybody, can guide anybody, tell anyone what to do or not to do. Not at all. I'm simply not in that level yet. I mean, seeing somebody and firmly telling them what's going to uh, work for them, or they must do, they have to do. No, 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 not at all. You know, there are only some facts about my experience and the things that I have gone through. And I saw that so many people are or once were in my shoes. And when I see them in real life, or after they watch these videos, they sometimes ask me like, how did you change? Why did you change? And I honestly just see this as some kind of a responsibility uh, after my experience, after all of all these people telling me like, what is going on with you? And when I talk here, it's like I'm talking to myself, honestly. At the same time, I also tell these things to myself to deepen or strengthen the things that are taking shape in me, taking place inside me. You know, you can imagine it as like having a bowl of water in your hand and suddenly come across someone extremely thirsty who asks you for some water. What do you think? What do you do at that point? I just hand them some water. That's it. I mean, no question, no hesitation. I think this is just common sense, right? Uh, I see this mm, whole like journey and these stories that I'm telling, not stories like life stories or experiences, uh, like that bottle of water. To some people who are really thirsty and want some change, like those people who are uh, maybe their life is like what I described uh, from my life, from my past, or maybe not in that like intensity, or maybe worse. But anyway, they want to like change it somehow, and they are like how I wish there was somebody who could really share their experiences step by step. And this is it. I would really appreciate it if there was somebody when I was in that situation. And shortly, I'm nobody special. I'm not here to sell anything, tell anyone what to do or not to do, lead anybody. Uh, I'm just sharing this for people who really need some change in their lives. Uh, and I'm simply another human being that uh, has who has gone through some challenges and ups and downs and passed over them, uh, passed through some of those challenges, and now is facing some different types of challenges. I'm still learning lots of things myself too, and every day encounter something new. And based on the vision that I have now, I'm just like 10% uh, uh, in, close to that vision, that ideal thing in mind. Uh, 20%, I don't know, but it's no way even close. So I hope I could address and explain those questions, answer those questions as best as I could. Uh, I will talk more about discipline and how to strengthen our mind more and more, how to train our brains to have some more discipline in the coming episode, in the next episode, to, obey ourselves more toward the new directions that we want to tell it, or we are, instructing it to follow. Uh, Also, I will share a little about how I brought some order in my life, you know, in real life, when life really hits you, or when you go through some tough times. So, thanks for your attention. Keep growing. Have a great time. See you later.